five worldviews according to Anchors Away, you're going to get slightly different nomenclature depending on who is writing the curriculum. And we talked about pantheism, that God is in everything and everyone, or God is everything and everyone, or everything and everyone is part of God. But that whole idea of God being the sum total of living things is part of what is pantheistic worldview and Eastern religions are about. So you can. So part of I talked to you about is that most pantheists believe that this idea of us as individuals is an illusion. The truth is that we are one, that we aren't individual people. Yes? Oh, please do. Thanks for reminding me.
So, if let's say that all of the different religions, these different types of worldviews and religions are true, wouldn't it be able to work if pantheism is true and they believe that everything is God, and then atheism is true and they believe that there is no God and nothing is God? Wouldn't those contradict each other? So then they wouldn't be able to be in the same universe. They'd have to be in different two different separate universes to actually work and not cancel each other out.
Yeah. So what we talked about last year, they can't both be right. They can both be wrong, but they can't both be right. There can't be no God and everything is God at the same time. So you're absolutely right. I don't know about the multiple universe thing, that there'd have to be multiple universes. I mean, we can live with as many different opinions as we can. I mean, if we started talking about dark chocolate, milk chocolate, I mean, obviously the right answer is no. Is there anything else? But somebody else is going to look at me like somebody else just did, and no, it's dark chocolate. We can live in the same universe, Jen. We just don't have to agree. And I'm right. But we can. That's a preference. But with a truth claim, either God is or He isn't, and there's no middle ground. And in that case, one is right and one is wrong. But in the case of two different religions, they could both be wrong, or one could be right, but they can't both be right. Good point. God is in everything and everyone. Oh, I think what I was starting to say is, oftentimes in pantheism, you have this idea of that me looking out at you and seeing Logan and seeing Sage and seeing Jagger and seeing Ash and seeing all of you as different separate people is an illusion. The truth is that we are all one. We don't see that truth because we're not fully enlightened yet. But when we are fully enlightened and it's usually called Nirvana, we poof into the universe, then, and I don't even know if that's a sentient existence, we have understanding in that existence, but we poof into the universe, usually is what they say. And then we'll know. Or we won't do that until we know. So God is everything and everyone, or at least everything and everyone is part of God. The universe and everything in it is divine. So you have most religions saying there's the natural and there's the supernatural. Most pantheistic religions would say everything is supernatural. Everything is spirit. Everything is God. And then everything is interconnected because everything in the universe is divine. Only the spiritual dimension exists, but ultimately it can't be knowable and it isn't personal. There's no sense of a personal God in Eastern religions and pantheistic religions. There's this, it's almost like, think Star Wars. How do you have a relationship with the force? The force just is. And Lucas drew from pantheistic thought when he wrote the Star Wars. Still great movies. Not the theology isn't. Um, so so we are one with ultimate reality. The problem is we're not enlightened enough, or some of us aren't enlightened enough to realize that. And enlightenment is the process of coming to know that truth. We must seek this oneness through spiritual enlightenment, particularly meditation and sometimes yoga. But all Eastern religions have this importance placed on meditation. And meditation is just concentrated thought. Meditation isn't so much like when we talk about Christian meditation, we meditate on the goodness of God, we meditate on what Christ has done for us, we meditate on Scripture, but this is more of a concentrated thought on more philosophical things, not personal relationship with anything. There is no personal relationship with anything in Eastern religions. And then, because there's no distinction between good and evil, it's not a matter of good and evil, it's a matter of enlightened or unenlightened. So they wouldn't say, oh yeah, this person is good because he's a Buddhist, or this person is bad because he's a Christian. This person is enlightened, this person is unenlightened. And the idea is that if we all live that way, then we will have peace in the world. I want you to notice two things. And I don't think I asked you this yesterday. I'm sorry if I did. So I was asked once by Stan Parker, my friend Stan Parker. He asked me, what's the matter with world peace? Did I ask you that question yesterday? What do you think the answer is? What's the matter with world peace? My answer was nothing. That wasn't the answer he was looking for. What's the problem? From a Christian world.
I don't understand the question. Like, why is world peace wrong, or why do we not have world peace? Why do we not have it?
Yes. We won't have world peace until Jesus returns, right? It makes everything right. Because we are dirty, rotten sinners deserving hell who want what we want. I used to think that once I became a Christian when I was younger, I thought, I'm not rebellious anymore. I was very, very rebellious before I became Christ. But then I realized, no, I'm still rebellious. I just have the Holy Spirit to help me out now. And if you want to find out if I'm rebellious or not, just tell me I can't do something. And you'll find out in a hurry that I'm pretty rebellious, even now. And so we won't have world peace until Jesus comes and makes everything right because of our sin. Now, a pantheist believes that we can bring world peace to the world if everyone's enlightened. And theoretically, that's true. But practically, it can't happen. And then I want to talk just a little bit about the newest iteration of pantheism. And I think I mentioned this yesterday. It's the idea of the universe being that nirvana. And people will say, if you give to the universe will give back to you. It's basically just karma. So you do good things, and the universe gives you good things. You do bad things, and the universe gives you bad things. It's basically karma, just making the universe the agent, not karma, the agent. We were born to worship, and we will all worship something. And this new sort of idea in the West is this idea of the universe being the giver and the taker of good and evil. So, the key characteristics, we've already kind of talked through these. God is in everything and everyone. The universe and everything in it is divine. Only the spiritual dimension exists. Man is one with ultimate reality. You only find that out through enlightenment. Truth comes from oneness with the universe. And man must seek this oneness through spiritual enlightenment, not rational thought. That is meditation and yoga. There is no distinction between good and evil, only enlightened and unenlightened. So we're going to walk through a couple more things here, and then I'm going to move forward. So where it says God, 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 it doesn't mean polytheism, that there are many gods. It's that God is everywhere and everything. There's really no distinction between good and evil, but there is a distinction between what is enlightened and unenlightened. And then we're an illusion. We're in reality, we are all one. So here's some, we talked about, we did this, right? Pocahontas is what one of my kids call it. I won't tell you which one. So, okay, I'm going to play a little clip for you then. So that God up at the top that's bouncing off the box, that means that a transcendent God, a almighty God, the God of the Bible, is not part of this picture of pantheism. So the background of pantheism has to do with, as I've been alluding to, Eastern religions. So Buddhism, Hinduism, Taoism, shamanism, which is found in the United States and Indian cultures. Those are all pantheistic religions. They have some differences in theology, but we see all of that in those pantheistic religions. And then more commonly in the United States, that Eastern religion came over and it began to be called, and I don't know, in about the 60s or 70s, New Age, the New Age movement. And so if you hear of the New Age movement, that's pantheism coming to the West, a Western version of pantheism. So how does pantheism then answer, oh, we already did. Anybody seen Brother Bear? They've become like animals and yeah. Oprah has a pretty pantheistic worldview, and you're gonna be while I'm gone, you're gonna be listening to Oprah quite a bit, not about this, but about something else. But you'll see her. She has a very spiritual outlook, but not a traditional Christian. She was raised in the church, but not a traditional Christian. And then that's the goddess Shiva, who is both a Buddhist and a Hindu goddess. And it's called the Ark of Hope, and it was meant to bring enlightenment and peace to the world. It's kind of a knockoff of the Ark of the Covenant that was built, and it goes around. It's travels around to bring peace and enlightenment. I'm not sure how, but that's what they believe. So now let's talk about the 5 life questions. From where did I come? So the religions that are Eastern, Buddhism, Hinduism, and Taoism and shamanism, they believe in reincarnation. And so we are, the people that we are is just the latest version of our, they would say soul, or spirit, I suppose. And I don't know that they have a really strong answer of how. I think they probably have a story about how the universe was created, and that story is different from pantheistic religion to pantheistic religion. But we are constantly going through births, death, rebirths cycle. Why is there such a mess in the world? Because people aren't enlightened. If everyone was enlightened, we would have perfection. But there are the people who are not enlightened cause the problems. And so seek of enlightenment is what they would say. And then, is there any hope? Yeah, become enlightened. The more people that are enlightened, the more that we have peace and truth in our world. And then, what is my purpose in life? To connect deeply with whatever it is, whether that's the universe or enlightenment or nirvana, whatever that is, keep growing toward that, becoming more enlightened, become one with others, become one with nature through meditation, through yoga, and through reading religious texts and that sort of thing. And then what happens when I die? Well, we are reborn, and we are reborn based on the karma that we built up in the last life. So if we built a lot of good karma, then we will be reborn in a higher state. If we didn't build up good karma, then we will be reborn in a lower state, and that can sometimes even be animals, not just human beings. And it really gives a certain sort of fatalism to this philosophy, to this belief, because you're getting what you deserve. So that can work compassion, right? Why should I help you? You messed up in lots. And so that's why in some Eastern countries, they just let the lepers lie on the street and die. Nobody takes care of them. That's what Mother Teresa did. She took care of the lepers, and it was outrageous. Took care of the lepers on the streets in India. So there's a certain amount of fatalism, I think, embedded into this. So you'll be reincarnated. You have three choices: reincarnated higher, reincarnated lower, or become completely enlightened, and then you poof into the universe. That's what nirvana is. Nirvana, there's no sort of sentient existence. You just poof into the universe and become one with the universe. Yeah.
Well, then, how would they explain like population growth? Because I get like maybe you came from a cow in your last life, but there's also still more animals. Like everything's growing. Like, where does some of the animals come from, or some of these people?
Yeah, I think there are new as well that aren't someone that's
Where does that
cycle.
Just happens.
I think, I don't know. Yeah.
I've heard some things where it's like, I don't remember where I read like reincarnation doesn't it's restricted by like time. Is that like, do they believe that, or is that just something?
Yeah, nirvana would be outside of time and space, I think.
Like reincarnated into a life that was before the life you
Oh, so it's like out of order too? You
Yeah.
can go back?
I don't
Interesting.
I don't know where I read
Like,
that.
that's
I don't know for sure. I still have my old religion. I don't know what happened. Yeah, I'll look into that because that's a really interesting concept. It's interesting. So to kind of wrap this up, I'd like to give you a sort of some theological tenets of Buddhism to kind of help you see how this all fits together in a religion that is pantheism, and that is Buddhism. So the primary theology of Buddhism is called the Four Noble Truths. So the first noble truth is the truth of suffering, dukkha, and it states that we all suffer, that suffering comes to everyone. Is that true? Absolutely, that's true. Now, I don't know that I'm willing to say that life is suffering, because I believe life is more than suffering. But I do believe that suffering is a universal experience for human beings. So life is suffering. And then the second noble truth is the origin of suffering. And the origin of suffering in Buddhism is desire. We suffer because we desire things, whatever it is. I think that's true. Okay. But desire isn't necessarily selfish.
Like you can also desire to know
It
God
includes
more.
selfishness. What?
You can also desire to know God more.
Right.
So you suffer from desiring to know God more.
Yeah, well, you could suffer because you feel like you're cut off from God and you're not feeling from God. So, but if you didn't desire to know God more, you would be suffering. Right. Or if you are married and your spouse dies and you suffer, well, if you didn't desire that relationship, if you didn't desire for human love and connection, then you wouldn't be suffering when that person dies. Yeah.
So, if they desire to be in the universe and achieve Nirvana, suffering to
Yeah, it's universal.
oh,
At least everyone who desires. So we'll get.
so
We'll get
is it a bad thing? Is it a bad thing to suffer then?
I think that they're trying to end suffering. So yes, because the whole point is the end of suffering. So do you think that's true? Do you think that we suffer because of our desires? I think generally it's true, or possible at least. There's a way um, to kind of see it that way. Do you want to live without a desire for meaningful relationships, with love, with having something to do in your life that is that has purpose? Yeah, just
Desire to not desire.
I mean, we can't answer it because that's self-defeating. You're right. The whole thing is self-defeating. I hadn't thought of it that way. So then the third noble truth is the truth of the cessation of desire. If we get rid of desire, we get rid of suffering. If we get rid of desire, if we desire nothing, then we will not suffer.
Like on earth or
They're pretty much. Yeah, I mean, you're going to be reborn on earth until you finish the universe. And then there won't be suffering. But you also probably don't have any sort of understanding of who you are. I don't know if that's true or not, but here's what I do know. That even if we could end all desire, I don't think anybody would really want to live like that. At least nobody that I know. I wouldn't want to live like that. And I'm not sure that we can do that. To desire nothing. I think to desire is part of what it means to be human, and I don't know that we could even do that. Theoretically, I think it could be true, but we all desire things. So I'm not sure that it's that it would work in that sense. And then the last noble truth is the path to nirvana. How do we get to this place where we're completely enlightened? And it's called the Eightfold Path. So you do these 8 things, and you will be on the path to eventually be enlightened. And these 8 things are right understanding. So right understanding of the truth of the 4 noble truths and what is true. Right understanding. Sorry, I already said that. Sorry. Then right intention. So what we do with the right intentions. right speech, so we speak rightly, right actions, so we do actions that are true, right livelihood, we make a living in a way that is honorable, right effort, so we work hard, right mindfulness, that's meditation in yoga, right mindfulness, and right concentration. So also part of meditation in yoga. This is why I've told you many times that every religion says the same. Except Christianity. Do this, and this, and this, and don't do this, and this, and this. And you'll get to heaven. You'll earn your way to heaven. This is the same thing. This is earning your way to heaven. It sounds a lot different from thou shalt not kill. Right mindfulness sounds a lot different. Right intention sounds a lot different. But it's up to you. You get yourself, in this case, nirvana, not heaven. So every other religion except for Christianity is a do and don't religion. And one of the reasons I believe Christianity is because it's the only religion that begins with the truth. You can't do it. And so Jesus did it. And I believe that is obviously what I believe is true. So when we start up tomorrow, we'll start with a clip from Pantheism, and then we'll move on to Spiritism. We should be able to get this done. My hope is to have your test over lesson 1 and lesson 2 next Wednesday. That's when I have it scheduled. We'll see how it goes. But I think we'll be in line to have that next Wednesday. And I'll put that up on questions. Yeah. For the what? On lesson 1, but this is a unit test on the first 2. So, yeah, what is the Christian worldview? And yes. Yeah.